Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Shane Live. This is episode 99. 99. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone in the chat. Johan, Biscotti, Big Daddy Shade. Good to have you along. Brady, some sad news. Some sad news has come to New Zealand this week.
I'm so on the fence about this because, yes, it's sad news that we don't get the great man, the great athlete that is Simon Lizotte returning to these shores. It was an absolute pleasure to caddy for him and to meet him and see him in Auckland back in 2015 when he came over the first time. But at the same time, for me, I'm really excited. He's such an exciting player, and the idea that he's mulled over this. I know this decision that he made to leave Discmania, which is, leading to him not being able to come over. It must be something special in order to get him to leave. I know how close he was with Yuzi. I know, he built Discmania from the ground up almost with Yuzi. So the idea that, I'm really excited to see where he goes. I'm really excited to see what he throws. It's going to be a great year. It's sad. I'm looking forward to my Simon Lizotte disc. That C-Line FD is something I've actually wanted to add to the bag so that I have a signed Simon Lizotte one is kind of special. So, there are silver linings, but yes, seeing the man, seeing him smile, hearing him laugh. That'll, I guess, have to wait for another year.
It will. We're going to get on to a little bit of news and we'll have a little bit of a chat and some, some theory crafting over where we think he's going to go. But we'll talk about that in a second. But we've got a bit of a packed show for you tonight. We've got hot scores coming up soon. Then we're going to go into some news that's happened. There's a few bits and pieces that we want to cover there. Then we've got Connagh McKinstry joining us. He's fresh off his win at Egmonster, and that's free on the bounce for Connagh. So we'll be talking to him about how he's hit form at a pretty good time to hit form. So we'll be talking to him about how this affects his preparations for Garden City and for nationals. We've also going to be going through some upcoming events. There's lots and lots of events in the disc golf calendar with some registrations that are opening very soon. And also we've got updates to the power rankings, which we also want to go through as well. Some quite interesting updates. We'll also be telling you a little bit about what's going to happen next week when we hit episode 100.
Dun, dun, dun.
Indeed. I mean, which is crazy to think that we've got that far. But anyway, let's kick us off with hot scores. Brady, start us off down south.
Down south as ever, let's go to Invercargill and Queen's Park. Andrew Popham coming in with a hot round this week. He is popping off with a 15 under par to get us started on the South Island. Right next door, we might as well call it the Ethan Stout Championship course. He once again is up the top, an 11 under par, beating his 9 under par from last week. Nice shooting, Ethan. Over to Dunedin, Shingford Park, Chris Brooks comes in with a -4. And at Brockville, Tom McKay shoots -5. I will shout out Francis Orange is now a South Island member and had the second hottest round with a -4 at Brockville. We're going to go to the Gardens, Queenstown, Bruce Nang and Sean Tarno Morty shooting 11 under par to take the hot round in Queenstown. Over the Crown Range, it's a lockout for Ryan Cambridge. Ryan Cambridge shoots 13 under par at Lismore Park for the hot round and 6 under par, blistering at Ely Point. Nice shooting, Ryan. Good to see you back out of the hills. In Christchurch, I really want to see this card because Jelly Park, the hot round at 12 under par, Casey Brown, Craig Gold, and Liam Patterson. So congratulations, Casey. First time making it on. Love the fact that you just shot 12 down at Jelly Park. Insane. Well done.
You got to be on.
Yeah. Jasper Vandermeer takes the hot round out at Ascot, shooting 3 under par. And Callie Thompson rounds out the Garden City with a 5 under par at Warren Park. And lastly, Saxon Field, Murray Neal and Connor Dove finish at even to round out the South Island. Matt, what's going on in the north?
Up north, Baron Paul, we've got Keith Furlow, who hits 6 under par in the hills. Over the harbour, Hikoikoi, and it's Ben Schicker, who hits 5 under par at Petone. Andrew Barnett hits 4 under par at Harcourt Park, and it's a tie between Galal Brizzle and Josh Johnson, who both hit 3 under par at Linklater. Up to Maryland's, and it's Ben Schicker again with a 3 under par. And at Spa Park Blue, Callum Petman had a very good week, and the highlight of that week was 13 under par in total. Quentin Suppers, 1 under par at McLaren's, and Martin DeHaas hits 5 under par at Henderson. So well done to everybody there. Some very good scores coming through. And yeah, 12 under par at Jelly Park. I mean, it's a short course. People hit that kind of score on relatively often, but it's still tough, right? I can remember going around there and getting deep into single digits when I played. So yeah, shout out to Casey there. Very good. Now, news. We've got quite a bit of stuff that's happening. First up, let's deal with it. Simon Lizotte, he's leaving Discmania. We saw the video about the Garden City Open. Means he's no longer able. Where's he going, Brady?
Well, rumor has it he's going Overmold. It seems word on the street is MVP.
Yeah,
is kind of front runner at the moment. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think it's MVP as well. I mean, if you, I don't know if you follow any of the MVP like official or even fan community groups on Facebook, but they've just been red hot last few days. And there was a post that they put out that was just the date, and it was today's date. So who knows?
Or was it December 1st?
Well, yeah, that's a fair shot. I read it and went, hey, and then obviously remembered that Americans do it the wrong way around. So it was one of those. Yeah, I think it's going to be MVP. I'm actually I'm kind of a little bit surprised at that in a way when I first heard the rumors maybe a couple of weeks ago, but also I'm intrigued to see what he's going to throw, and anybody who highlights MVP discs, which I think are beautiful. I think the overmold actually makes them look better, and really kind of pops a lot of the color in the disc out by having that overmold there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be good. It's going to be good fun.
It will be interesting. I thought there's part of me that thinks even something like Vibram making a comeback and bringing Simon on board would be really interesting. MVP does sponsor the Maple Hill Open, which is now the MVP Open right there, which is his home course. So I'm not surprised, even with the pickup of James Conrad, kind of the people's champion who went on to win worlds, there's part of this that MVP has never been, for me personally, hasn't necessarily been a competitive brand. The idea that top, your Ricky Wysocki's, your Paul Macbeths, those are not the people who are on MVP. MVP, they're fun discs, they're fun stamps, they're fun colors. They're the people's champions colors. And so the idea of... Yeah.
They've got quite a loyal following, though, quite a loyal and cult following. But I would say Sarah Hokum's perhaps the exception to that in the FPO division.
Oh, agreed. But at the same time, you have Kat was with Prodigy for ages, which, that entire company was founded on the backs of champions, and is still, there are champions who are still on that team today. The idea that Discraft and Paige Pierce and now Paul Macbeth and Innova with Jen Allen and the numerous championships throughout the 90s and early 2000s at Innova in the women's division. Speaking of which, Valley Mahondo, what about that elite team for Discraft?
Yeah, that they've signed up a few. So it was Anthony Barella and Valerie Mandano. Holland Handley, I think, was a Discraft. Did I miss anyone?
No, you also had promotions of like Corey Ellis goes to the elite team. You also had Aaron Gossage goes to the elite team as well. So yeah, like there was, I think it was 6 new faces on the elite team. So you had some people on the tour team step up, and then you had those 3 new faces that you just mentioned.
Yeah. It's going to be fascinating. We're expecting news to drop kind of any day really, or any minute. As to what's gonna happen, and it means that kind of I guess Eagle, Kyle Klein, they're going to be flying the Discmania shield, I guess, mostly. You think?
Yeah, it's Eagle definitely has to step up. I know that he's been dealing with injury, and I think he rushed it a little bit. You see that Simon didn't rush his injury and came back very well. Eagle rushed his and kind of faded out at the end of the season after the European Open. Kyle definitely, I'm hoping he's not a flash in the pan. He has done well and has been competing well, but Gannon Buhr has proved to be the young gun with a bit more staying power at the moment. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Will Nate Perkins get a bump? Will Avery get a bump? Speaking of, theoretically, there's 4 players in New Zealand still looking for some of this money that Simon has freed up. So,
Indeed,
maybe one of them will get a piece.
Well, we're going to be talking to Connagh, one of the 4, very soon. Very soon. Pop in the comments. What's your favorite MVP disc? What disc is your go-to when it comes to MVP? Brady, do you have a preference? What MVP have you thrown?
Oh, goodness. I've thrown inertias, relays. I really want to get my hands on a glitch. I've thrown the Hex, Envies.
Yeah,
I'm best friends with Jack Ryan. I've thrown most of his bag.
That's true. So I think most people will be aware of the Envy. I know certainly there's Ryan Cambridge down in Wanaka who can play whole courses with just that one disc, and also the Hex. I was particularly, it's an Axiom, but it's the same company. I'm particularly impressed with the Hex as well. So yeah, very good. Look, we're going to be following it, and we'll be able to update you with any news that we get as we go. Right, we're now going to bring in our guest at this time, which is the winner of Egmonster at the weekend, Connagh McKinstry. Good evening, Connagh.
G'day, gents. How are you?
Very good. Let me get you in the right place. There we are. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks. No, it was a good one to take down. It's always nice winning on your home turf.
Indeed. 3 on the bounce.
Yeah, starting to get a bit of momentum now.
Is the 4th one Christchurch? Is that your next one?
I can only hope so. Been putting in a bit of work, so love to sort of carry this on and keep the winning going. That's the plan.
You're very much at the business end of this of this Discmania 1 in 4 year. The decision is probably very close to being, if not has already been made. Talk us through how you're feeling at this point.
Pretty good. I think my play has been up there. I sort of left, everything on the course. So if they're after good results and whatnot, I've definitely put my foot forward and said, yeah, no, I'm the one to take. I know social media is a big thing for them, and I've promoted myself decently there. There's always room for improvement, but decently there. I'd like to think I've got a pretty good chance of getting that sponsorship.
Who would you say is your main competition in the other 4?
All 3 of them can throw a disc pretty well. I don't think it's a 2 or 3 leg horse race. It's all 4 of us have got a pretty good shot.
And now we've talked a little bit in the past too that you're looking forward to spending some time with Avery, right? So Simon's not on the cards, but do you get a practice round? What's Garden City going to hold for the 1 in 4?
So I think we originally had planned, which is a bit gutting to miss out on, but originally it was a practice round with just the 4 of us and Simon and Avery, which would have been an awesome experience. But Avery, nonetheless, I can't wait. That's the tools he's got and the knowledge he has in the game. just try and soak it all in on that practice round with him. And I believe we're going to spend quite a bit of time with him over the weekend. There's quite a bit of one-on-one time, and we get to know him a bit better, and he gets to know us so he can make his decision. But yeah, I think this Discmania group is going to spend a lot of time together over this Garden City Open.
What's going to be the first question you ask Avery?
Good question. How much of Simon's contract do I get? I'd sign for just the one. I don't want 10 mil.
How many years you want?
What's that? Sorry.
1 mil for how many years?
For a lifetime with them. Sign me up.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Because it's really about 3 weeks now until Christchurch. And so you've got that's obviously there's enough time to do some preparation in that time. So how are you preparing? What's the next 3 weeks got in store for you? You haven't got any official events between now and then. So what preparations have you got between now and the Thursday, which is probably the day that everyone's going to be arriving or traveling or even getting practice rounds in? 3 weeks. What are you doing between now and then?
3 weeks, sort of probably a lot of field work. We're playing on Hagley Golf Course, so I think I can expect a lot of what I just had on the weekend. A lot of long shots. There's a lot of, from what I've heard, there's a lot of low ceilings, which Inglewood course sort of plays on pretty well to that. So I dare say I'm going to go out to Inglewood, have quite a few rounds, putting every night, but that's the normal at the moment. So. And then we I fly in, I think, down there on the Tuesday night. So get down there, get some field work in. Thursday, hopefully have a good practice round or two, and then straight into it. Yeah.
And I think Brady will be you're going to be joining us. We've got a show on the 2nd of February where we'll be previewing the tournament, and then on Friday, Saturday. And Sunday we'll be doing subsequent shows on each evening, wrapping up the results. And it would be interesting to see how that all plays out. It's going to be incredibly entertaining, I think. You mentioned that you think it's going to be fairly similar to Inglewood. So what's going to be your kind of your staple discs that you're going to be leaning on over that weekend, would you say?
Probably this last weekend we had, as Brady would have probably told you, it was just the wind and the rain. It was a different beast to what the course normally plays like. So last weekend I leaned heavily on my PD2 and my new cloud breaker for a bit more stability. But I think, weather being well, I really throw my Enigma as well. I'll be looking to power a lot of them on hyzer flip lines, low ceilings. If it's anything like Inglewood and there's a bit of a golf course, you're going to get those skips off fairways and, just trying to play to what I know. So there'll be a lot of Enigmas, a lot of MD3s.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were throwing a mid really point and shoot on a lot of your upshots over the weekend. What disc was that? It was like a blue or like purple one.
It's a blue MD4.
Okay.
It's got the gecko stamp on it. It's a Simon's Light MD4. So I just needed a little bit of extra stability on the weekend, and it's not normally that straight flying, but that wind.
And so what was it like, this is the first time that Inglewood has hosted a tournament since you won the last North Island Champs that was held there. What was it like being part of a club now, like an official club that you kind of run and helping set up and break down? Like, what's the buzz in Taranaki after hosting your first event?
That's cool. I think one of our big things about running this tournament was we want to get membership numbers up out at our course. And I think we had a huge pool of locals come and play the tournament. And hopefully that's going to reflect over the next, our golf memberships at that course run out in January. So hopefully that reflects going into February with new members and more people playing the game out on that course. Because like everywhere in New Zealand, our family 9, Maryland's Domain, is, it's becoming overcrowded, and we need to push more people out to the other course. So we'll be able to tell next month if that sort of worked. But it was an awesome event. It was awesome to be part of, and getting a bit of a background of how everything's run, the hours that go into setting up the courses, all that sort of stuff.
I do have to give a mad shout out to you and the crew. The idea that, you had over half a dozen people breaking down the course. It took us 2 hours max?
I think it took us 2 hours on our golf carts running around, cleaning up the course. But I think it took 3 or 4 of us about 9 or 10 hours setting up in the rain on a couple days beforehand.
Dedication.
Yeah. It's the little details that made it though, right? It's the string lines on all your OBs. It's all the finer details that make a good tournament.
Yep. Is there anything that, because you have a little insider knowledge being part of 1 in 10 and talking with Leon, is there any of those little add-ons of the Garden City Open you're looking forward to?
Not that I've really heard. We haven't had too much of an insight. The course is,
okay.
It's a pretty fair play going forward. So hopefully on the Wednesday, Thursday, I can get my mind right around, and maybe that's when I'll get my advantages playing the course. And what's Avery going to throw on this hole? Okay, sweet. Maybe I can do that.
It's interesting. The long range forecast for Christchurch is as accurate as a 3-week weather forecast will be.
Data analytics team crunching numbers again?
They are. They've taken to analyzing weather patterns, and they told me that it's going to be it's going to be a little bit, maybe a little bit. There'll be a bit of cloud around, but there won't be any rain, and relatively warm at 22 degrees. So it should be quite pleasant.
Sounds like a Christchurch summer.
Yep. Yeah. I hope personally that it's not too windy, but we shall have to see. People who are more familiar with the area will know which way the prevailer is down there. So look, you've had a pretty busy year in 2022, and I'm going to tag Egmonster onto the end of that. Into the end of that year and say, since you were announced as being the Discmania 1 in 4, give us, obviously winning tournaments is going to be up there, but give us some of your highlights of this year, if you can. Are there particular holes or particular moments that stand out for you?
Yeah, there's probably just my really good rounds. I'm yet to I am winning some tournaments, but I'm yet to put together 3 solid rounds where I want my ratings to be. But there was, I think, North Island's up in Auckland at the start of 2022. I think I shot a 10.26, a 14 down out on Bethel's, I think it was. Mm-hmm. That was an awesome starting round, so that was definitely a highlight. Brock Park is always a highlight. In Tikawiti, that course is awesome. And then sort of just getting 3 on the trot. Yeah, I think the biggest highlight is going into Christchurch and winning down there. Couldn't have drawn that one up any better. I was pretty happy to head down there, and the aim was to sort of stick it to Jay and Joe on their home turf, and that worked out well. But that was good fun playing with those boys, and it always is a challenge. But it was nice to get a win there, knowing that I'm coming back shortly.
So, sorry, go on, Brady.
No, you're good, Matt.
So look, there's going to be quite a bit of competition at the Garden City Open. Who is your pick to take it out, or to finish second, I should say? Because you're going to pick yourself, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Who's going to be on the card with you at the end?
Who's going to be on the card at the end?
Who's going to give you the biggest strife? Going to put you.
You got to pick Levi. Levi's going to be there.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick 4, it'd be myself, Levi, Jacko, and let's go with Simon. Simon would even say himself he's drew a really good tournament.
Mm-hmm.
He'll show up for the big events.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting. We've also got two. Obviously, there's Avery Jenkins, who's rated still 983 and can still throw a disc. You got Nate Perkins as well, and Ko Simmel from Japan. Who?
Okay, I didn't realize Nate was playing South Islands as well as nationals. But he's got to be up there as well, right? You don't just hang around on the pro tour and not be any good.
It's going to be fantastic. There's it's a absolutely packed field.
That's right. I'll go for an all Kiwi top 4.
Yes. Well, we hope.
Okay, you heard it here first. All Kiwi top 4.
We very much hope. That you're correct in that. Excellent. Look, so you've got the announcement, the Discmania 1 in 4 announcement that's going to be coming up very soon, and very best of luck in the final few weeks, days. I don't know when the decision's being made, but very best of luck. Next week, actually, in next week's show, we'll be doing a little bit of a preview of and a breakdown of all 4 of the competitors in the Discmania 1 in 4, and the data analytics team are going to be pulling together some interesting stats from gameplay to social media to all sorts. So make sure that you tune in next week to see how Connagh stacks up against the other 3 competitors. But Connagh, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Very best of luck. Hope the preparation over the next 3 weeks goes well. I suspect I shall see you on the Thursday before Garden City, and we'll catch up.
I'm sure you will. Who's your pick, Matt?
My pick for the overall
for the 4
4 at the end. Look, I've got to say Jay Watkinson's going to be there because it's his hometown.
No, right? I'm talking Discmania now.
Oh, Discmania. Who's my pick for it?
Yeah.
Look, you're absolutely right that all 4 competitors have done something or some things well within certainly one or many of the deciding factors. What the thing that's going over in my mind is there's no one who's really done everything well. And second to that, I don't know what the deciding factors, the priority of the deciding factors is going to be. And I don't think it's been very clear as to what that is. If it's purely results, then arguably you're currently ranked, and spoiler alert for a bit later on in the show, you're currently ranked 4th in the country, which would put you highest out of the group. But then I would argue that some of the other competitors' social media presence is perhaps slightly larger. So it's going to be quite a difficult one for the people deciding to decide. And I hope they're very clear in their own minds as to what their selection criteria is.
Cool. So thanks for that answer.
Yeah. To be fair, Connagh, I will say that you, like you said, you left it all on the course. There's nothing you left behind. I want to, being with you is in the 1 in 10, and seeing what you've done on the course, seeing these wins down the stretch, going into South Island champs, having won your own course, having won on the other island, having won Topor, you know what I mean? You've put every good foot forward this entire time. And so the idea of, regardless of the decision either way, head high, dude, you've crushed it. You've done so well, dude.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those that, yeah, dude, you got my back, man. You're representing the North Island, you'll get my vote and that kind of stuff, when it comes to on the course, when it comes to a great bloke, when it comes to, someone that I would put the shield on if I could. I will pick you. You hear it here first. Brady picks Connagh for the 1 of 1.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. Thanks, Brady.
And Brady, you're absolutely right. If you had to go based on form and based on results, then you win. So, that's
yeah. I definitely don't think it's clear cut. And I think even just spending time with Avery over this tournament is going to make a difference. Discmania they want a decent person. They don't, they're not fake. They They want someone who's going to promote their brand, play well, and just, Discmania, as you can tell by Simon and Eagle, they're not bad people. You want to hang around them, right? So it's going to come down to a lot of factors.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Look,
Thanks, guys.
Best of luck, Connagh.
We'll look forward to it. Very best of luck. Good luck for the next 3 weeks in preparation for Christchurch, and we'll catch you in a few weeks' time.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
Cheers.
Blah! Don't do that.
It's the right way around, shall we? There we go. Look, it's gonna be an interesting few weeks and an interesting decision when it's made.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Connagh. I really am. He's definitely stood out and down the stretch. Don't get me wrong. Like, Ashton's been playing heaps too. He's done really well on the course. Ben's probably been the quietest of the four, both on social and on the course, though he still has played well when he showed up. But yeah, for me, it's a 2-horse race. You have Connagh on the course and winning down the stretch, and then you have Sebastian and his trick shot, like young gun, like the Wunderkinder of New Zealand, so that's really for me in my mind. But again, I'm not Avery, I'm not Leon, I'm not Team Discmania making this decision. So yeah, the ball is in their court.
The issue with Sebastian's results, and I will go into a little bit more of this detail next week because it's probably best to then. But the issue I've got with Sebastian's results is that because he's quite frequently played in MA1 rather than MPO, whilst his score at the end of the tournament might well be up towards the top end, and I know certainly in some tournaments he's finished second, third, etc. The issue that I have is that the conditions in which he made that score aren't the same as the conditions at which the players around him who finished first, second, fourth, whatever, were as him, right? What I mean by that is that they all played on cards where everybody else on the card was putting pressure on them because they were tied or a shot ahead or at least competing in the same kind of realm. Quite frequently, Sebastian was shots, even double-digit shots ahead of the people on his card, right? And having played this in that kind of way, and I'll tell you the experience I had of this, right, was Middle Earth Open. You're smiling, Brady, because I know that you set this up partly. Middle Earth Open 2021, right? I went into second round of Middle Earth Open, leading the division, but because of numbering people in the division, I got put on a card with a bunch of the MPO guys, right? So there was 3 MPO guys, the people who were battling it out for third from bottom, and me on one card, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth in the MA1 division were also a separate card, right? And so in that second round, I had no pressure. I didn't have people big putting me who I was playing against. I didn't have people like stringing together birdies that then affects my decision. I can play my own game and I can go, right, what's the most sensible thing to do? And what happened was I extended my lead. And went into the third round and then came up against a card of 3 other people who were in second, third, and fourth. And it was squeaky bum time at the end by about 3 holes at the end. Unfortunately, I can remember it as clear as you're standing in front of me now. I can remember Ryan Kitto missing a putt from like 8 meters in off hole. Oh, which one would it have been? It was our second to last hole, but the one that goes at the very top of the ridge on the eastern side.
Top 6. Hole 6.
Hole 6. That was like our second or third to last hole. May even been second to last hole. And he missed a putt from 8 meters, and I thought, that's it. I've done enough. I had like a 2 or 3 shot lead at that point. But when I was never birdieing that, so I was playing it safe and going for a 3, as is my game. If you've watched any previous episodes, and so I would argue that Sebastian's not had that same pressure that I felt in that third round. In the tournaments that he's played, and has come out with results that are perhaps, I'm going to say, inflated. Do you think that's fair?
Ooh, I can't speak for all of his tournaments. I've been on some of them, and I've been at some of those events where he has not played well. And the idea of knowing that there is pressure placed on him. Also, having played in the MA1 division like yourself, I do know that there can be pressure on those cards regardless. The idea of just this past weekend battling with Connagh. Connagh had a 7-stroke lead, and I kept taking strokes from him. I think I got him down to, I was only like 3 or 4 back at one point. And then, of course, he extended that lead down towards the end. So, just because you're in a division and just because you're ahead by X amount of strokes does not mean that there's not pressure there. And so, yeah, it will be interesting, to see what they say, and it might be we've had this discussion throughout this whole process, whether it's 1 in 4, 1 in 10, the idea of, is this Leon just picking people that he wants on Discmania? Is it, someone mentioned in the comments, is it Avery wanting someone, in that, so is this all just kind of like a marketing sham to cover up something, a decision that was made a year ago, 2 years ago?
Well, look, I think really for me, we'll break down some of the stats next week, and we'll maybe that will make it a bit clearer. But obviously, whoever gets picked, there'll be reasons why they get picked, and those reasons will be made public. And yeah, so but yeah, look, let's go through it in a little bit more detail next week, when we're a little bit closer to decision day and we've got some numbers in front of us and we can make some more kind of objective decisions. And you're absolutely correct. My blue rinse came in the post last week and has since been applied. No, what you can see is a terrible green screen and some very grey hair, Biscotti. So, but no, thank you for noticing. That's very kind. Right. Let's get on to some other things. Now, it was alerted to me, perhaps by somebody who might be watching now. Big Daddy Shade, I think, was the one who told me about this. That if you want to know, let's turn our attention to Nationals now. If you want to know what card you're going to be playing on at Nationals, then you can find out. We're going to show you now. These are all on the PDGA website. There's nothing secret that we've got here, but the cards have been announced for Nationals. So if you're playing Nationals, you're one of the 255 people playing Nationals, head over to the PDGA website and you can see who is on your card. So let's just pick out some highlights for from that we've got. Having a look down here, Connagh McKinstry on the same card as Toby Gentle. So they played a lot in Topor earlier on this year with Ben Murray, local Ben Murray, and Zach Horrell on the 1250 card. As we go a bit further down, we've got, this is the feature card, right? The feature card is at 210. Nate Perkins, Dylan Feldman, Team Sweet Chains, Francis Orange, and Ryan Cambridge. What an absolute rammed card that is.
Wrong, actually. That second card. So that's the flex line card.
That's the flex line card. Yeah.
But that's not the MDG card.
Oh, okay. So the 2 cards are being filmed. Is that right? 3
cards are being filmed.
Oh, because the ladies are as well, right?
Correct.
So Jacko, Levi, Isaac, and Jay in the fun for the final card of the day is also another absolutely rammed card. I'm glad that and then in the ladies division, Cassie, Haley, Michelle, and Abigail in the FPO. That's an absolutely ram-packed card as well. So that's going to be incredibly close there.
What's Tosh rated? Tosh is 822.
Say again.
Okay. Tosh is the other Australian player that's coming over. So Tosh and Cassie are good friends, and I've met and played with both of them in Australia. And so it was one of those, I wanted to see where her ratings stacks up because she's a competitor too. So I was just seeing if she's going to sneak on, will that be the women's card for the whole weekend for lead card? Or, will, Echo or Stephanie or, someone like Tosh kind of mix things up.
Looking down in MP40, I have to say I'm delighted with my card. I get to play with Anthony Rogers, Michael Yu, and Chris Dixon. Look, it's great. I get to play with 2 players in the top 20. So in New Zealand, and so I'm delighted with that.
Does that mean there's going to be pressure on you to like play and compete well and make birdies, or what's that going to do for you in your round?
No, look. So it's not going to change the way that I approach the game or the way in which I try and approach the course, because I don't think I play very similarly to these guys, right? So Mikey's got a very distinct style of play, being predominantly forehand.
He has a forehand?
He not only has a forehand, he arguably has the best forehand in New Zealand. And so that's one style of play that I can't compete with. Anthony Rogers has got a cannon, and that's not part of my gameplay. I've got more of a kind of point and shoot, play it a bit safer kind of guy. And Chris Dixon, I've played a few rounds with Chris in Queenstown before, and it's good fun. No, I don't think it is. Because these guys, right? Right. Let me just sort of preface this and kind of frame it. My target for this tournament is to make cash, which is 9th place. Right. That's my target. I expect that Anthony, Mikey, and Chris will all be in the top 6. Right. So I'm expecting, especially Mikey and Anthony, I'm expecting to be in somewhere near the top. So if I can hang on to their coattails, right, and they can drag me along a little bit, then I'll be very pleased. What have you seen?
Finney's coming over. Chris Finn, the dude himself, Chris Finn from Australia. He's coming over. Goodness, that's gonna be awesome. I've not seen him in years.
And he's on a card with Phil McLeod, local Wellingtonian, and Wainuia Martin, and Mike Foley. John Menzies rounds out that one. So yeah, if
can
you
that
want
be a
to
mic'd
know,
up round, that'll be friggin' great. Please,
yeah, it would be.
Phil, reach out. I got a microphone for you, or I will find you one for that round.
Brady, MA1. Let's have a look.
Keep going.
You're down here. You're playing with Benjamin Ari, Andrew Fleming, and Sebastian Faulkner. Now, we don't know much about Benjamin Ari. Presumably, you don't know him.
He's Team American, RPM right? From Florida. We're already friends on Facebook. He's like, "Oh, bro, you're on my card. We're best friends now." And I'm like, "Cool, sweet, sounds great." Excellent.
So yeah, very best of luck to Andrew and Sebastian playing with 2 Americans on their card, and looks to be a very, very competitive matchup for the first round.
Yeah, I'm hoping that me, Sebastian, and Andrew can stay on that top card all weekend. Is what I'm looking forward to.
Over in FA1, take a look here if you're on.
Eilish the favorite, looks like.
Yeah, look, yeah, probably. Yeah, Eilish and Amy, I would say, would are probably the 2 favorites here. Not sure that it plays to Paula's strengths, but yeah, I would say Eilish and Amy perhaps are the favorites there. Let's just have a quick look in MA40. Where are we going? These are the latest cards up here. Favorites here, I think, have got to be Russell King.
No, it's Bruce.
Bruce McNaughton.
It's really funny. Bruce? Yeah, Bruce McNaughton. He should be playing MPO. He just doesn't have the distance that he used to. He's got a cannon of a forehand for an old man. I've played with him heaps. He came to the Fling a few years ago with Rick Capalco, Sean Capalco's dad. Bruce is quite a character out of Sydney. He's awesome. One of the old school players from, out of Sydney in Australia. He's a great player. I think he should be top card if I'm not mistaken. He'll definitely be in the hunt, I would suspect.
Women's FA40, you're probably looking at Nicola Stout. They'll be playing on a card, probably all on there between the 4 of them for the duration of the weekend.
To be fair, the last time I saw Sue and Nicola, they told me not to bring Kath South to any event. So, Kath could always feature. We'll see. She did just win Egmonster, so she's got to win under her belt.
Yeah, talk about people with a strong forehand. Absolutely. And there's heaps of it. Just keeps going. But look, if you're interested in knowing what time you tee off, maybe it affects your breakfast plans. I don't know, on the on the Friday. Then go and check out the website, the PDGA website, and all your tee times.
Can you scroll 4? Okay, 11 total junior players. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Insane.
11 players in total.
Like Egmonster just had 5 in their junior division. I was super happy with that. The young boys and young girls, or young in betweens, however you identify, are coming out and playing, which is really good to see.
Yeah. So look, actually, no, there's 12. Alison Tooley. So yeah, look, go and have a look at that website if you want to know who your cards are for nationals. We're going to be going nationals will become our focus after we've got Christchurch out of the way. Right then, let's have a look at some upcoming events that we have. We've updated this, and I think I've got everything, but surely there'll be someone in the comments who tells me that I've missed some things out, because that would be
typical. Crunching too many numbers for those power rankings, that you miss the events that are coming up that actually factor into those power rankings.
Well, that's right. So we got the west side of Woodville this weekend. That's on Ryan Kitto's own property and his next door neighbours. So if you're playing in that, then very best of luck and have fun. It looks like he's always got stacks of prizes, and everybody who's gone there has had a great time. Roxburgh Open is also this weekend. Makaripi is next weekend in Rotorua. Along with Wellington Centurion on the 24th. So it's 23rd, sorry, which is the Monday. So Wellington Centurion this year is across 4 courses, 101 holes across 4 courses. We'll be playing Harcourt Park twice. We'll be playing Wainuiomata, Pool Crescent twice. We'll be playing Petone, Hikoikoi 3 times, and we'll be playing Berhampore twice. So if you're keen, I know off the top of my head, we've got about 16 to 20 people already. If you're keen to get involved, then let us know, and we'll make sure that that everybody's accounted and catered for. There is a Facebook group for it, or a Facebook event, so make sure you go and sign up for that. And then if you're also following, but you're not in Wellington on that day, we'll look out for our social media channels. We shall be posting the massive UDisc scorecard that shows all 101 holes and all of the players that are playing on it. So if you've got nothing to do on Wellington anniversary, you're bored at work down south, then you can follow the results as they come in on UDisc. So yeah. We've got Hosker this weekend in Wellington. So head down to Petone at 9:30. Get there a bit earlier. At Hikoikoi, we've got a theme round, then a championship round, and Wellington Summer League returns next Wednesday is when it kicks off at Harcourt Park. More details to come through social channels, so make sure you check those out. Back to the calendar, Heislander at the end of January, down in Dunedin. Then it's South Island Champs. Queenstown Classic, registration opens for that tomorrow. So midday tomorrow, I think it is. So make sure that you head over to Disc Golf Scene and get yourself on that registration. We've got the NZDGC Red Course Flex Start, which is kind of a practice round, I guess, with a little C tier thrown in. $15 gets you entry into that. So if you're in Invercargill on the 2nd and you're around in the afternoon and want to get a flex start with your mates, then go for it. Then you've got New Zealand Nationals for the weekend of the 3rd to the 5th. Topol Classic 2 weeks after that, Paradise Place the week after, and Brook Park Brave, where registration is now open. Yeah, Brady. So look, there's 3 obvious ones. Any other ones there that you're looking forward to, or that you might be able to get to?
Not at the moment. Centurion, I'm looking forward to. I'm still kind of rehabbing a little bit of injury. It's starting to come right, hence played fairly well up in Connagh. So yeah, or Taranaki, sorry. No, just the majors. And then yeah, I'm looking to run Middle Earth Open again here in March. I just got to work out with the golf club, working on a weekend that they're away playing golf somewhere else so that we can play disc golf at Barrenport. So yeah, that'll probably round out me. Those majors are really what I'm looking forward to. Same with Connagh, doing rehab, getting that momentum, building up to those. How about you? Just the majors? So anything else?
It's just the majors for me. There's really only one weekend in March that's free, I guess, at the moment. Obviously, you wouldn't run Middle Earth at the same time as Nationals or North Island Champs, but there's 2 weekends, I guess, that aren't those 2 tournaments. If you're looking at March for Middle Earth Open,
yeah. Looking more. I've done February and March in the past. February is kind of my ideal spot, but yeah, it's like taken up with South Island Champs. So most likely, I'm looking April this year. Like a little bit later, and also now that Fault Line has been moved back to November, it kind of keeps our 6 months. Yeah. Apart, so like having it a little later in the year isn't too bad. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Middle Earth Open will be coming back to the capital shortly.
And looking at the rankings, we've had a bit of movement in the ladies division. Laura Kaistrup, following her win at Egmonster, moves up 7 spots to 8th. And Clements is up 3 spots to 13th. And in the men's division, as we said earlier, Connagh McKinstry climbs 1 place at the expense of Simon Feasy, up 1. Jake Brennan and Francis Orange swap places in 17th and 20th. Brian Rawlins was the big winner. He went up 57 places to 47th at the weekend. So yeah. Also keep an eye out. We're going to be I'm going to be doing a stream on Twitch where I go through the power rankings in a little bit more detail and update the spreadsheet engine that the data analytics team use to account for this year. It's getting a bit clunky because it's got 2 years worth of results in it. So we're going to try and compact all those down, archive the stuff that we don't need. And I thought we might as well do it on a Twitch stream. If anyone's around and interested and keen to have a look at how that works, then come along. I'll let you know when that's going to happen. Right. I think that's more or less us. Just to say that next episode, next week, next Thursday night, 9:00, is episode 100. Wow, episode 100. Think about all the episodes that we've done. If you go back through our YouTube channel, you'll see episode 1 when it wasn't really even a thing. But a lot's happened since then. And we'll be covering
the kitchen table, the French blinds.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah. Me with my work headset on, just sort of chatting rubbish about stuff. Anyway, episode 100. We're going to have some giveaways. That's right, giveaways. More than one. You're going to have to be in the chat live, either on YouTube or on Twitch. You're going to be commenting and letting us know. Answering some questions, and we're going to be doing that next week. And also we'll be doing a review of the Discmania 1 in 4 competitors. So the data analytics team are going to be working overtime between now and next week in putting together stats on ratings, on tournament finishes, on social media likes, and all the rest of it that we think will make a difference. But yeah, so until then, wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.